Mike, this is Melissa.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Melissa. You don't know what this means to be meeting you guys.
Aw.
You just don't. You just don't.
When were you diagnosed?
A year ago.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
October.
Oh, just
But it had been
October.
going on- Huh?
So just 1 year, exactly, October of 2024.
So you're at your year anniversary.
Yeah, it's my anniversary.
So how did you find us, or what were you looking for?
Well, it was after I was diagnosed. And so, wrestling with that pig for a little bit. And my wife, she loves a podcast. So she told me to watching your broadcast, and I was going, what's this? And she said, this is really, you should watch this. So, okay. So y'all were my first thing I actually saw and touched and got into that, was talking about all of this, running through my daily pity party and stuff like that.
Reeling a little bit, yeah.
Giving out tickets. And
Pity party table of one.
Welcome to The Secret Life of Parkinson's, a podcast created by people living with Parkinson's to help break the stigma of a disease no one likes to talk about. Now here are your hosts, Jessica Krauser and Brian Baker. Let's do a formal introduction real quick. So we have Mike Willingham with us. And Mike, where are you from?
5 years ago, we came from Texas.
Okay.
Me and my wife. We were following our kids. My youngest daughter had moved to Washington, to get her big girl job after college. And then my oldest followed suit, and we followed suit. So, now we're all here.
Washington State? Okay. Nice.
What part of Washington State?
I live in Marysville.
Oh.
Which is north of Seattle.
Okay. All right. Beautiful area. Do you like it there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Much different than Texas.
Yeah, that was a blast furnace.
That was a blast furnace. So Mike, you were diagnosed October of 2024. So you're still what I would consider newly diagnosed. You're still in it's a fresh emotional state that can last a lot of people for anywhere from 1 year to probably a couple years in. But so take us back to that moment, and like when you first found out, or at least first had your symptoms that led you to a Parkinson's diagnosis.
So after we moved here 5 years ago, we had an apartment in Linwood. One day, we had just moved in, probably about a couple of weeks. I noticed my left hand, my pinky was twitching. And I was like, I just wasn't, putting two together at that point, because the only time I ever even heard about Parkinson's was Michael J. Fox and Billy Graham, and that's it. Nobody else. And but as time went by, the twitching just kept on coming and going. And then we finally got a house in Marysville. That's when things really started to cook. I started walking slower. We were going my wife was trying to get us into, hiking. You move to Washington, you're supposed to hike. At least that's what I saw on the billboard. And I started getting slower. And I just thought, I was just, getting older. I'm in my 60s, so of course, isn't that what it's supposed to be? But when I started to take longer and longer to dress, it took like 10 minutes to just put on a shirt, and then it was getting slower to type at work. I worked for AT&T until I was only hunting with two fingers. And then my back straightened up like just a stiff, and my neck on my right side and my arm was, I was losing manual dexterity. I went to an orthopedist, big mistake, about the pain in my shoulder, back of my shoulder, and then in my wrist. So the orthopedist sent me to a nerve conductive specialist doctor.
Did you get an
and
EMG?
did a electrical testing.
Yeah,
To test, you know.
I had that done
He
too.
didn't tell me that it was like shock therapy.
Oh.
It's not
Because
fun.
the first time he did it, he put the electrodes on my wrist, on my hand, and he goes, "This is going to make you jolt just a little bit." And I almost fell out of the bed.
Oh.
Because it was like, 1,000 volts with, no amps. And he did it the third time, and he said, if this is too uncomfortable, I went, "Uncomfortable? Really? Really? You're electrocuting me and you're saying comfortable?" So I left. I walked out. So, unsatisfied. So when I went to saw my PCP, she said, "Well, you really need to see the neurologist."
Okay, so she at least did direct you to a neurologist.
Yes.
Okay.
So I saw a neurologist, and this is all me. But when he was suggesting, he said, "Oh, we'll send you to an MRI," and I said, "Why?" And then he goes, "Well, to rule out Parkinson's." And I went, "No, it's not that. No, I gotten older." But I did go. Of course, their MRI was inconclusive. But then I saw another one, and when I saw them, they said, "We're going to send you to a movement specialist." So they sent me to the movement specialist, and she said 2 minutes, and she said, "You have Parkinson's." And I was just, now as still as a statue processing that, and I went, "Okay, what now?"
What they say?
And she said, "Well, this is your new normal." I went, "No, I didn't want to hear that." But, she was right. Then she started to tell me, to things like, get a hold of a group, support group. This disease responds well to both medication and exercise.
Good.
And I went, because at this point I was going about once a week to the gym. It became my second job after that, the gym.
Good.
I started going there without fail 5 days a week.
Good.
And I, since October, that's what I've been, no fail, 5 days a week. I do these 2 aerobic classes, water fitness, and 3 days a week I do Forever Fit for seniors, aerobics with weights, real fast paced, you go at your own speed. The other thing was when I joined that gym, I went to a Zumba class. And I went, why did I do that to myself? I had zero coordination.
I want to go to a Zumba class with you.
I mean, it was a Frankenstein meets Zumba. You like Zumba? I went home and I'm like, I am so embarrassed. And so when I started the Forever Fit class, it was just day after day plodding along. I couldn't get my feet off the ground. It was like I wore magnetic shoes.
Yep.
I couldn't get my arms to flare. I had zero rhythm. But I kept saying to myself, "You have to do this, Mike. No one's going to do this for you. You have to do this." And I kept it and kept it and kept it. And just about a few weeks, maybe 2 months now ago, my body's really started
Yay.
responding.
That's awesome. Good for you.
I know. It takes time. I mean, think about how long, I don't know how long your diagnosis journey was, but it's like our bodies were doing stuff that it shouldn't have been doing. So we always talk about retraining. I know you can only retrain so much, but it's like you can help yourself or tell yourself, like, pick up your foot or move, like go slower if you're trying to get something done. So that part takes time for sure, but that's awesome that you are seeing, that some sort of improvement. And that's what I was going to ask, like, how do you feel this October compared to last October in terms of symptoms?
A good 85%, probably a good 85%.
Better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you taking medication?
Even my off times, the stretch of the off times, shortening up a little bit. So I think, most good days, I'm like within about an hour before I need to take my next pill, I'm feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
So during that time, I was taking a lot of, daily naps.
Yeah.
But now I'm taking maybe, 3 days a week now.
Okay.
Did you start
Short
on
naps.
medication right away, Mike?
Oh, yeah, they put me on carbidopa immediately. And we had to do some, tweaking.
Yeah.
And then one day, my doctor asked me if I wanted to try the extended release.
Uh-huh. Didn't go well.
I don't know, what else is in there? I'm like, what did y'all put in there? Carbidopa and?
What did it feel like?
Oh, God, I felt like I was off, period. Like I didn't take any.
I was taking an extended release and the immediate release. I was taking both at the same time, 4 times a day. And for me, it was great. I never noticed any difference. I noticed a difference in a positive way. And same thing with amantadine. Like I can handle that very well. And then somebody that I work out with, she's like, oh my God, it made me hallucinate. I had to get off of it. And I'm like, wow. So it's unreal, like how different, just based on our overall like makeup, our genes, like how you handle certain medications compared to others. Mm-hmm. So you were talking to Steve about this before, but that it was really difficult to accept your diagnosis.
Yeah. Denial is definitely not a river in Egypt. It was so surreal because this was not my plan. Mm-hmm. I was going to stick around and work about another 2 years when I was, turned 67. When I was diagnosed, I immediately went on disability.
Okay.
And short-term disability. Apathy was really hitting me hard.
But yeah, it does. It comes on so strong. And I didn't know what it was. And then finally a doctor said apathy. And I'm like, I've heard that word, but I like literally looked it up and I saw the definition. I'm like, oh yeah, that's me right now. Yeah.
Before I retired, I get to work and it only took a minute, but I'll be sitting in my chair and I'll be moving around like this.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going. Then I got to do some typing and I'm going. And then I get hit with a fatigue spell, and we have a quiet room, and I go in the quiet room, take about a 15-minute siesta, come back out. It ain't helping.
How long did it take for disability to kick in that you could actually retire and all that?
So the short-term disability, we, had to go through all the hoops and, getting all the documentation from the doctors and all that. It was, it's my company disability. Worrying about this while, thinking about everything else, it's
a lot.
It's stressful.
And if I didn't have my wife, I would be such a mess. Mm-hmm. I am serious. She has been such a help. I can't say enough.
That's awesome. How has this changed your daily life, or I guess maybe even your plans that you had together for retirement?
Yeah, well, it did. I mean, it really, really did because at that point, how I felt at that point, just every day, walking like Frankenstein, shuffling my feet like Igor. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh yes, I got to get out of here. So I'm a nut. I'm sorry.
No, we love it. We love it. Yeah.
So yeah, it has been such a radical departure of what your personal plans are. Mm-hmm. We're still planning to do some more travel. Next year we're going on an Alaskan cruise. Mm-hmm. And I've been on 3 cruises before all this decided to hit me in the face. Mm-hmm. And I like cruises, but not at that level, not at that how I was back then last year. Like there was no way I could go on any trip, let alone a canoe. I mean, nothing. And then then the nighttime, the nighttime sets in every night. my wife go to bed. My cat would come over to me and go, "What's up, Mike?" I'm like, "You got 5 minutes?" No. No. I've got a nap. I'm just, asking how you doing and see you. Jerk.
So besides being a comedian, Mike, do you have any other hobbies or anything you like to do? And exercising,
Yes.
of course.
Yeah. I've been a commercial artist, professional artist for over 50 years.
Oh,
Whoa.
And I've taught kindergarten to 8th grade, and old school trained, which means I don't do electronic stuff. I paint in all mediums. I've had a couple of comic strips published.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
Has that been impacted?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little slower. It hasn't impacted, actually using this tool.
Mm-hmm.
The tool has been doing good. I work on projects. I'm working on a big canvas right now that I'm going to put in my living room. I got another large canvas in my hallway.
Mm-hmm.
And I volunteer teach. I don't charge ever for teaching.
Nice. Yeah.
And like many people in my church, end of the month I'm doing 2 weekend workshops. Just love giving back. I love to teach. I love to show people you can draw, you can paint.
Are you aware that like painting specifically, but just art in general, is a huge therapy for Parkinson's, people living with Parkinson's? So like a lot of people who are diagnosed who never touched a paintbrush in their life have now become like that is their outlet. Did you ever hear of that?
I just heard that about a month ago. Actually, an article came out. It was one of the APDA magazine.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I can wrap my hands around that.
I was going to say that would be awesome for you to start looking into, because there is a lot even I'm just thinking of the ones that I'm friends with on like LinkedIn and Facebook. There's a girl in my young onset group, and there's another woman that I know, and they just got into painting. There's a guy in Youngstown, Ohio, where I'm from. Like he was an actual artist as well, but he has Parkinson's and how he's using it. But like there's definitely a community of artists that I think would be really cool for you to tap into. And actually, from this podcast, when this posts and you see some comments, there might be some artists themselves that want to reach out to you, because I think that like latching on to something that is your passion and that you want to continue doing, it's just to show like, you can still, Parkinson's doesn't have to take everything away. It's just how do you adjust to this new normal that it is going to be. But
and we really want to dive into that, because Parkinson aside, it's people that either never touched a pencil, and so on and so forth, that make a lot of excuses. They want to, but they keep saying, I can't do that, I can't do that. So my really basic thing to get people over the hurdle is just totally demystifying art. Totally demystifying, and once that hurdle is reached, everything comes quickly.
That's cool. So how has your family, how have they been through all of this? And is everybody aware? I'm hoping, because you're going to have this podcast.
If not, they are now.
Yeah. No, they've been very, very, very supportive. Like I said, my wife has been incredible, and my daughters have been incredible too. They're just my angels, my gems.
So now that you're 1 year in, like what do you wish you could tell yourself last October? Is there anything that or a new person that's being diagnosed today? Because there's a lot of people who watch who've been diagnosed for 10 years and those who are not diagnosed yet, but know it potentially is coming.
First, don't panic. When I was going to go see their second neurologist, and I was at the door, about to go outside, and I told my wife, said, what are we going to do? And she goes, nothing's changed, Michael. Nothing has changed. You're still a husband, a father, a Christian. Nothing has changed. I'm your wife. I'm going, okay,
That's
that'll
great.
work.
That is perfect advice, because people have always told me too, they would say, like, you're the same person that walked into that office that's walking out. There's nothing that has changed about you. And if anything, like you said, now that you have exercise more in your life and you have medication that is helping, you're better than where you were last year. So you're only helping yourself by getting the diagnosis.
Yeah. And I can say that during that time last year, it was just sitting in the darkness.
Yeah.
Not the fact that that the diagnosis also gave me an aha moments, especially ones about how long it was actually there. It's been there, for all more years. But the one that was, oh my gosh, was one of the symptoms is REM. And then I read some more about what it was, and I went, oh my God. So when I was a kid, up until my adult, I was a lucid dreamer. You ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was a really real lucid. But when I became an adult, I started having night terrors.
Terrors, yeah.
I fell out of bed, many times. So the only thing that really slowed that down was Klonopin.
What's that?
What they described it is a level 2 narcotic. And in 2016 on Christmas, I decided the side effects outweigh the benefits. Depression is one of the side effects.
Oh.
So 2016, I said, I'm going to just cold turkey. They never told me that's not something you should do.
Yeah.
You should wean off it. So 2 weeks of, oh my gosh. So this is what drug addicts go through?
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
wow.
Yeah. But it's one of those things that's like, I wish I knew to titrate. When you titrate up your medication, you also have to titrate off your medication. I know you said you're exercising. Do you also have a Parkinson's community? Like, do you have people that you've been able to talk to that also have Parkinson's?
I have not. I've been so focused this past year. I tried at our the YMCA. They have a group there called Pedaling for Parkinson's.
Oh, yeah.
And then in Sonoma, there's a boxing. It's called
Rocksteady?
No, it's the same thing as CrossFit. I've talked to them. They're really nice people. So I'm about to add that to my list, but I've just been so internalized, really. Being honest.
Yeah.
This disease really forces you to throw away a lot of baggage that you've been holding on to and your plans. It's more than just trying to, switch gears. It's a whole new realignment. And where you get your source of happiness or source of satisfaction, so on and so forth. It's just throwing me for a loop.
Yeah. You're 1 year in. So a lot of the stuff, it does take time. So it's good to see that you're already on the track of, one, accepting the diagnosis and then also exercising and feeling better. One of the episodes that we just recorded that will probably be out before this one, we talked about how another Parkinson's patient decided to make goals. If you think about life, we all have life goals. Like after I wanted to go to college, get married, have kids. Then after that, it was like, okay, now I want to make sure I retire, do this and whatever. And so it's just now like realigning what those goals look like. Like I still am and going to do that, but now it's going to look a little different. So, but still like setting those positive goals, in our life, I think is really important. So, and I think when you do set on a community, it sounds like you at least have a couple that are around you, which is great. Everything with this disease, we do want to isolate because there's so much just going on in our head. The reason why we started this podcast was one reason, but now the reason I feel like we're keeping it going is it's therapeutic for us. I mean, I'm learning more now from other people, but then I can talk about like my woes and my days and stuff like that. But it's an outlet for people that understand what we're going through. So I think a community is definitely, there's my pill alarm. There are communities out there that are, I think that's what people benefit from is being able to have those connections and common stories, and then obviously exercise so that you can help slow the progression. But so I urge you.
Yes.
That's your homework.
That's right. Stay connected.
But, not to understate this at all, or overstate, but once again, y'all were the lifeline when there was none.
Oh, thank you.
Because y'all are talking about it, and I'm going, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, okay, shut up and listen. And just going, yes, I really need to hear that, because, it's like you're in a den,
Mm-hmm.
it's in the dark, and you think you're okay, and you hear, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, come and just eat me now. I mean,
But you're not done.
No, you still have a lot of gifts to share with this world. So.
You got a lot of laughs. I mean,
That's right. Yeah. Who knew? Who knew?
We're going to have you back on for Brian to sit here, because you might actually get him out of his resting bitch face.
Yeah, he might actually crack a smile. It might crack. Yeah, his face might crack a
He
little
might tear up from crying so hard.
with a little makeup, a little clown makeup.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for reaching out. I think it's definitely worth saying, you sent an email to us, and we talked to you beforehand just about your journey. And that's what this podcast is all about, is we just want to share other people's journeys, because, while you might think, oh, this is just my story, whatever, someone is going to relate to it. And that's the whole point of our nonprofit, which is Changing Parkinson's, is we're trying to change, and you're changing, and doing this podcast with us, you're changing the way someone is going to think or feel about how they live with Parkinson's. And it's just like that whole community, that network, and it does so much for us on a daily basis. So I definitely encourage you, when this podcast comes out, to read the comments, and hopefully you'll see some that are like, that it sounds like me, you're not alone, and this is how I felt too. So, and like I said, like that's one of, it's gratifying, but knowing what we're going through and knowing that we're not by ourselves is just such a huge weight lifted off everybody's shoulders. So thank you for sharing your story.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I'm just so honored. I mean, Parkinson is definitely the roommate you didn't want.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
We say like the club you never tried out, or the club you never wanted to be a part of, or the team you never tried out for.
I like the roommate one.
Yeah,
it's like
I do
they're
too.
stuck with you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to be one of my comic strips.
Oh,
Good. You'll have to send
Share
it to
that
us.
with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, I will.
That would be awesome. Well, Mike, thank you again so much for joining us. Hang tight. We'll say goodbye to you in a minute. But before that, I will leave you all with your 30-second wrap up. So in our last 30 seconds, I will leave you with this. And everybody's journey is going to be different. And it is a hard diagnosis to digest and overcome. But hopefully everybody can take away what Mike was sharing, and, him finding a movement disorder specialist, getting on medication that is right for you based on your doctor's recommendation, and exercising. He now feels so much better a year in after exercising and doing all the things that he's been told to do by his doctor. So it's always important to listen to your physician. And with that, I'll see you next time.